Congress, I have the distinguished honor to bring on board our amiable Amir, who shall be giving the address for today. And this is in person of Dr. Luqman AbdurRaheem.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, the State of the Nation Quarterly Address, January 1 to April 9, 2016, by the Muslim Congress Committee on Social Mobility, the Economy and Politics. The State of the Nation Address is presented by the chair of the committee, in person of my humble self, Dr. Luqman AbdurRaheem, today, Saturday night, April 2016. Introduction. Between change and reality. When the people latch on the change slogan by the APC during the election campaigns, it was thought that it is very easy for change to come. The masses, and to a large extent, the enlightened elite, perceived change to be as easy as switching on a bulb or lighting a matchstick by striking it on the matchbox. The Nigerians across the 6 geopolitical zones must have thought that change was an event, something they could bring on with a stroke of the fingers. Fellow Nigerians, we are courageous to educate you that change is not an announcement, a meeting, or the swearing in of the president. Rather, it is a phenomenon which requires sacrifices, sustained value reorientation, loss of patience, determination to build strong institutions, and of course, fervent prayers to the Almighty. It has taken the whole of 10 months for some people to begin to realize that change might indeed take some time to happen. Some people still cannot understand that change can even take years and still not have happened. Some people are beginning to call the government a failure, but nobody should be blamed, since we are on a learning curve. The time has come for us as a people with great optimism to know that change is nothing more than strategic planning, which also requires systematic implementation. What the people were thinking was that change is something that government officials put in place without any hassle. They have forgotten that the people constitute a critical element in governance, without which success will be a mirage. The people must now be ready to know and understand that change occurs when we move from the things we have known and done through a period of transition to arrive at a desired new way of behaving and doing things. How then can this be an event rather than a process? The biggest failure of the government in the change process is lack of prompt communication on the state of affairs. The government needs to let the people know the present state of things. What is the situation of things at the moment? Why are things not working well for now? What is the next extent? What is the extent of the rot in the system? In what state is our economic structures and institutions, behaviors, technologies, political structure, and cultural value system, which all combine to define who we are? The government needs to align or to enlighten the people that the present woes are temporary and surmountable. This is because complicated problems do not necessarily subject themselves to easy solution. Change, the government must understand, has to be properly communicated and painstakingly explained every step of the way. It is when people understand what is being done, why they are being done, and what is required of them that they can be expected to commit themselves to the process. Government communication is poor. Given the resources at the disposal of government in terms of its reach in disseminating information to the people in every nooks and cranny of Nigeria, it is indeed amazing that the government's communication is poor and ineffective. Spokespersons have become reactionary in their approach rather than being proactive in dealing with the public. With the largest television and radio networks in the whole of West Africa, the National Orientation Agency and many other agencies of government, the people are still far from being sufficiently informed and educated. Where are the religious body and civil society group? It is very important that this administration get every support it can from all and sundry. The relevant government agencies needs to collaborate with religious communities in getting its policies across to the people. Religious body can help build trust, social networks, and social health that will in turn encourage economic and social opportunities for our communities. By building norms and values that encourage political stability and economic performance, the mosque and the church can help government increase economic growth and improve government performance. The power of prayers is a potent force that cannot be underrated in redirecting our society towards the path of rectitude. The civil society organization have a lot of work to do in holding government to account for their commitments and encouraging the government in insisting that its activities will no longer be treated as business as usual. The need for early budget passage and assent. It is indeed unfortunate that the passage into law of the 2016 budget was unnecessarily delayed by the executive on the one hand due to avoidable errors, and the National Assembly on the other hand by not providing the details to the highlights. We are surprised that despite the long time it has taken, the National Assembly is just sending the details 1 week into 4th month of the year. The President has done the right thing by withholding his assent, since he needs to scrutinize the entire budget to be sure that it is a document that he can use to actualize his promises to the teeming masses that voted him into power. The danger for the President is not seeing the details of the budget before assenting to it, is that whatever he finds thereafter must be executed to the details, since it is an impeachable offense in our statute for the President to spend money contrary to the provision of the budget as appropriated by the National Assembly. The buck stopped at the President's table. It makes a lot of sense that when we need to explain how we got to this sorry state of affairs, we might need to talk about unsavory activities of the past government. But this is exactly where it ends. From the 29th of May 2016 and going forward, President Muhammad Buhari administration takes full responsibility for whatever successes or failure we experience as a nation. The President's responsibility has nothing to do with whatever he has done or failed to do. Neither has his responsibility got anything to do with whether he created the problem or he inherited them. After all, government is a continuum. His acceptance of responsibility only has to do with the fact that he is the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria at the moment. He certainly did not create the problem, but having contested and won election, it becomes his primary responsibility to solve the problems that we face as a nation. So if there is no petrol at the filling station, blame PMB. If we have little or no electricity supply at our homes and business premises, blame PMB. If there is a huge housing deficit in the nation, blame PMD. If the country is not working well, blame President Muhammadu Buhari. Granted the fact that enormous damage was done to the economy and the psyche of the ordinary Nigerian, it is still the duty of President Muhammadu Buhari and his cabinet to get his hands dirty while mending the rod in the system. On electricity supply, petrol supply, security provision, and the economy, probably the four most important indices at the moment by which this administration is consistently being judged are electricity supply, petrol supply, security provision, and the economy. This is because these are four critical areas that immediately affect the overall well-being of the populace, without which a meaningful life is not possible. Our score for the government in these four critical areas, using a 3-point grading system of poor 1, average 2, and good 3, are as follows. For electricity supply, we score the presidency poor. For petrol supply, we score the presidency poor. For security provision, we score the presidency good. For the economy, we score the presidency average. The gathering momentum of the anti-corruption war. The trial of the Senate President Bukola Saraki has become the litmus test for the efficacy or otherwise of the anti-corruption war of this administration. It is good that the case has entered the trial phase after the ruling of the Supreme Court that the CCT has jurisdiction to hear the case. It is only the court that can pronounce him guilty or vindicate him. This is perhaps the only anti-graft case that has entered the trial phase 10 clear months after the swearing in of this administration, and as anti-corruption war as one of its key agenda. What is important in all this is for every accused person to have his or her day in court irrespective of affluence, ethnic background, religious affiliation, or political leaning. The poor have always had and continue to have their days in court. A 21-year-old unemployed man was recently sentenced to 1 year imprisonment without an option of fine for stealing items valued at 10,000 naira. But the affluent who have stolen billions of naira are either told to return some money in a plea bargain and told to go home and sin no more, or they are fined 750,000 naira or even 300,000 for heinous crimes they have committed against the state. The country must aspire to a situation where everyone is equal before the law, and the law will always take its course no matter how long an accused person tries to evade justice. Killing of Colonel Somaila Inusa is highly condemnable. We condole and sympathize with the Nigerian Army on the recent killing of his kidnapped officer by his abductors in Kaduna. The death of Colonel Somaila Inusa is indeed highly condemnable, and those behind this dastardly act must be apprehended and made to face the full wrath of the law. The Fulani herdsmen / farmers clashes. Despite the fact that President Muhammadu Buhari has promised to end mass killing of innocent Nigerians, abductions, and other criminal atrocities in his Eastern message to the nation, we still feel strongly appalled by the unnecessary killing that took place in Agatu local government area in Benue State. We deplore situations where innocent people are sent to their early grave for no just cause. The government must live up to its promise by ensuring the security of lives and properties anywhere in Nigeria. Even though we commend the security action that have taken place so far, what is most important is that such senseless killing never take place again. The government must then go a step further by looking at the cause of all this unnecessary killing and deploying viable and lasting solutions that will ensure that people never again take law into their hands. And we also suggest that those who have been displaced should be resettled and compensated appropriately. The Eseoruru stroke Yunusa abduction saga and related matter. Since the news broke on the Eseoruru stroke Yunusa abduction saga, we have seen attempts by some individuals, some NGOs, and some media houses to turn the matter to a religious issue and then use the avenue to attempt to taint the religion of Islam. While we are not surprised at this behavior, that is one time too many. We must point out the hypocrisy and endemic hatred of the antagonist of Islam in this particular attack. We do not hold brief for Yunusa because he is capable of defending himself, as the case is already before a court. But we do condemn in unmistakable terms the unprofessional manner in which a section of the media conducted itself. Most of the so-called stories being bandied about were from one of the two parties involved, and usually hearsay from third party. What happened to investigative reporting to uncover the underlying issues in the matter? What happened to the balanced reporting where the views of the two sides are taken into consideration? What happened to the noble ethics upon which journalism was founded that they had to be trampled upon so disrespectfully? The attitude of some jobless and biased NGO also needs to be condemned. If indeed they truly want to be useful to society and protect the right of the girl child, there's a lot of work to do that they have refused to do. So many girls of schooling age are being molested, impregnated, given out in marriages, raped and abused in the 6th geopolitical zone. But they turn their eyes the other way. So many girls are undergoing child labor without anyone to alleviate their plight. So many girls still are being forced into prostitution, with this same NGO turning the blind eye. But when they see a cheap avenue for publicity and an opportunity to gain a false sense of relevance, they quickly jump on the bandwagon. While we uphold the activities of responsible NGO, while we applaud the activities of responsible NGO, the irresponsible one need to be advised to close shop and find something else to do. The latest attempt to taint the image of a Muslim in Enugu State with a false story of forceful conversion was timely and adequately debunked by the responsible and vigilant Muslim in the area. Let the hijab be. The discrimination against Muslim girls and women wearing hijab seems to be an issue that we'll have to continuously contend with until the court makes a clear pronouncement on the matter in line with the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution. As soon as we report a case of infringement on the fundamental human right of a Muslim girl or woman, another one rears its ugly head. We hereby call on the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board, JAMB, to call its agents at some of the centers that administer the CBT to order. It will not be enough for JAMB authorities to say that it did not give any order restraining hijab-wearing students from sitting for the CBT. It must go a step further by openly condemning this unwarranted assault on Muslim students and to order them never to repeat this unwholesome attitude. JAMB must ensure that it gives strict guidelines to its agents regarding the conduct of the CBT and also publish same in newspaper before the next CBT. This will allow Nigerians to know those who harbor malice against Muslim students so that we can use the long arm of the law to deal with them. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, must know that the constitution which guarantees the religious freedom of Muslim women is superior to the rules and regulation of the accounting body. It is therefore surprising that ICANN requests candidate for its examination to submit passport photograph that show the ears uncovered, that is the ears of Muslim women. This is a condition that cannot be met by hijab wearing women because the ears cannot be uncovered. We urge ICANN to review these particular guidelines and to allow hijab wearing women use photographs that show the full face without exposing the ears. It must be noted that ICANN, being a prestigious national body, must make rules and regulations that conform with the diversity of the citizens of a multi-religious and multicultural society that Nigeria is. We are indeed certain that this anomaly will be corrected without further delay. Long live Nigerians, long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Dr. Luqman AbdurRaheem, Chairman, TMC Committee on Social Mobility, the Economy and Politics. Thank you for coverage.
Thank you very much. And that has been the speech